Welcome to this lesson on idempotency in distributed systems. In this video, we will explore how to design operations that can be safely repeated without causing unwanted side effects. This is a critical concept when building reliable systems that communicate over networks. We will learn about safe request retries and deduplication techniques that ensure your data remains consistent even when things go wrong. Let's start by understanding the problem. In distributed systems, networks are unreliable. When you send a request to a server, two things can go wrong. First, the request might succeed, but the response gets lost on its way back to you. Second, the same operation can be executed multiple times, causing duplicate processing. For example, if you're transferring money, a failed network response might cause you to retry the transaction, but the server already processed your first request. The result: you get charged twice for a single transfer. This is where idempotency becomes essential. Idempotency is a mathematical concept. The formula f of x equals f of x means that applying an operation multiple times gives the same result as applying it once. In distributed systems, this principle is crucial. An operation is idempotent if you can safely retry it without causing duplicate side effects. This means whether you execute it once or 100 times, the final state remains the same. This is exactly what we need to build reliable systems. There are different types of idempotency based on the operation. First, query idempotency. Reading data multiple times always returns the same result. GET requests on the web are inherently idempotent because they don't change anything. Second, insertion idempotency. Creating records with a unique identifier prevents duplicates. If you retry creating a user with the same email, the system recognizes it and doesn't create a duplicate. However, insertion idempotency requires using an idempotency key, which we will discuss later. Continuing with more types. Third, update idempotency. Setting a value to a specific state multiple times results in that same state. For example, if you set a user's status to active multiple times, it remains active. This requires version or timestamp checks to ensure you're not overwriting newer changes. Fourth, deletion idempotency. Deleting a non-existent item is safe and should return success regardless. If you delete a record that was already deleted, the system should respond successfully instead of throwing an error. Now let's explore the first implementation strategy, idempotency keys. The idea is simple. Assign a unique identifier, called an idempotency key, to each request. You include this key in the request headers. The server stores this key along with the result. When a retry comes in with the same key, the server recognizes it as a duplicate and returns the cached result instead of executing the operation again. This prevents duplicate processing even if the client retries multiple times. This is the most common approach used by payment processors and banks. The second strategy is request deduplication using cache or storage. When the first request arrives, the server processes it and stores both the request and response in a database or cache with a unique key. For any subsequent request with the same key, the server checks if it exists in the cache. If it does, it returns the cached response immediately without re-executing the operation. If it doesn't exist, the server processes it normally and stores the new result. This approach is flexible and works well for any type of operation. Let's walk through a real-world scenario, a bank transfer. First, the client sends a transfer request with a unique transaction identifier. Second, the server processes the transfer, deducts $100, and stores the result. Third, the response packet gets lost on the network. The client never receives confirmation. Fourth, the client retries the same transfer request using the same transaction identifier. The server checks its cache, finds the previous result, and returns it without processing another transfer. The customer is charged only once. This is the power of idempotency. Here are essential best practices when implementing idempotency. Do use universally unique identifiers, or UUIDs, for generating unique identifiers. Do store responses with a time to live, or TTL, so cached data doesn't consume infinite storage. Do always check if a request has been processed before executing it. Do log all retry attempts for debugging and monitoring. On the other hand, don't assume requests are always unique. Don't store results indefinitely without expiration. Don't ignore network failures and assume they won't happen. And don't skip idempotency for operations that seem quick or simple. Every write operation deserves protection. Let's summarize the key takeaways. Idempotency is essential for building reliable distributed systems because networks are unpredictable. Use idempotency keys to identify and track requests, preventing duplicates. Cache responses so retries return consistent results without re-executing operations. Apply idempotency to all write operations, not just critical ones, because any operation can fail on the network. By implementing these patterns, you create systems that gracefully handle failures and maintain data consistency. Safe retries equal reliable distributed systems. Thank you for learning about idempotency with us.
If you like this video, hit that like button and don't forget to subscribe. Visit codelucky.com for more such useful content.